Welcome back to LightFair 2025, Greg Ehrich.
We're here.
We're here. It's brought to you by Keystone Technologies. Go to KEYSTONETECH.com. I am so pleased and proud to be joined by longtime friend Peter Brown. Welcome back, Peter.
Peter, good to see you, sir.
Yeah.
Greg. Hi.
Hello.
So we're back. We met at LightFair many moons ago.
That's true.
You and I met at LightFair, I think maybe 2006 or something. LightFair 2006. You and I met at LightFair. What does it mean to Peter Brown?
It gives you a chance to get specific information on products and whatever, companies, whatever, but it also gives you at the same time an overview of what's going on in the whole industry.
Exactly.
And I mean, it's such a good use of time where, to try and do this, it's impossible. I mean, it's not impossible, it's just much more time consuming to get that sense of what's going on, who's doing what, who's there, who's not there. I mean, just whatever. So.
Yeah, and just right before we recorded, you had a nice little conversation of something that is totally in line with your business and what wouldn't have happened if you...
Exactly.
That's what it's about.
Yeah. Conversation about?
I'm involved in both lighting and electrical stuff. And so I was just talking to a utility, and utilities are transitioning from 50 to 80% of their lighting, commercial industrial has been lighting.
Yeah.
As we get to 60, 70, 80% of adoption of just, LED retrofits, that's starting to change. Different parts of the country are ahead of others. They're looking for ways to find ways to save energy. Then the lighting, whereas going old LED to new LED, that's probably going to be the biggest source.
That's going to be more than controls?
Absolutely.
You think switching from older LED to new LED is going to be bigger than controls?
It's easier.
That's true.
That is true.
I mean, come on.
It's true.
It's like going from a 40 watt to a 34 to a 32 to a 28.
Yeah.
And
he's probably right, Greg.
It comes down to a lot of
times. If your focus is on energy efficiency, controls are still a mystery, I would say. Even though we have the controls course, come and sign up for it.
Yes.
We're doing it, but still a mystery.
Yeah, you mentioned it, but like 32 watt, and I was selling 28s all the time.
Yeah,
I was selling 25s all the time, and then LED came. And
to your point, where controls are, I was talking this morning about this. The growth, new construction in the States is probably going to be 1 billion square feet per year for the next 5 to 10 years. And that's almost all of what we've normally seen total C&I new construction.
What is the total of Vegas?
No idea.
I want to compare it to something.
So there's 100 billion square feet.
Yeah.
And if you just, ballpark number, just take population. So California is 40
million,
which is about 10% of the population, give or take. Yeah. So 10% of 100 billion would be 10 billion square feet.
It's going to take a room.
Yeah.
That is.
But the other part is, what's cool about data centers is you don't need a lot of light in there, and you certainly do a lot of light all the time. So all of that's going to be controlled.
So do you think there's going to continue to be rebate programs on lighting? I mean, do you see, and two questions, and then the percentage that you feel is actually upgraded. You said 60, 70, 80. What is it, and will there still be rebates?
So I got involved in a study that 11 utilities did last year, round numbers, nationwide it's at 60%.
Okay.
California's at 70, 80%. New York's the same.
Ontario's the same.
Massachusetts. Whereas if you're in
Minnesota,
Iowa or something, it's considerably less. But overall, with fluorescent ban, and there's something called a building performance standard program coming up, where before you would have just incentives for lighting upgrades. There's now both incentives
and a stick.
And so Oregon, Washington, California all have state programs and city programs. Colorado has a state program and a city program, and it's scattered, and New York has a huge one. And so in those areas, coupled with the ban on fluorescents, the amount of work being done is considerably more. So we're going to get to the end faster. And now what's left, the last 20%, and you know this from being in Toronto, major metropolitan area, all that's left is 20,000 square feet and under. They're the laggards. They're the folks that have one shift. They've got T12s or T8s, whatever, and there's not a whole bunch of incentive. And contractors, you don't want to go down the street one at a time. I mean, for the revenue you get for the cost it takes you to do it, unless you can get the utility to say, okay, go and do everybody. Give us an RFP, give us so much cents per kWh, and go do everything. You market it.
But why does the utility even care?
Because they're under a mandate to save so much power.
Who makes this mandate?
The Public Utility Commission in Illinois.
Yeah, like I wonder, like I say to myself, like, so what if somebody's got T12s? Who cares? They're gonna you can't find T12s. Nobody needs to worry about that guy.
So
I got the last 10 cases of T12s in Ontario right now in my warehouse. As soon as somebody buys those and they're gone, you're not going to be able to buy it. Why do we need all this enforcement and these rebates?
I'm in Arizona. I can go to a Lowe's or a Home Depot. There's 8-foot T12s. There's 4-foot T12s, 40 watt, 75 watt.
Yeah, but who cares? That's not really moving the needle all that much, trying to get T12s out of people's hands.
That's true.
You're not moving the needle. Like, it's almost a waste of time to focus on it.
I agree. But what's happening is because of AI and data centers, the huge amounts of power, these building performance standards are there to try and squeeze everything they can out of the buildings. And that's why, to get it done, they're having fines.
But they're fining people. They're doing the same thing in Ontario with Greg with the mercury stuff. Like I saw an email from the Ministry of the Environment's nonprofit in Ontario, whatever it's called, the RPRA it's called, and they had fined like these battery companies millions of dollars. They fined them. Like I'm talking Energizer, Duracell, Panasonic. They hit them with $3 million fine from the province of Ontario. Like think about that. Like,
Crazy.
that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right? And because these companies didn't comply with the new extended producer responsibility program. Remember I told you about those?
Heard about it,
Yeah. And it's like now, and the problem is that those programs are not working by the government, and now they're starting, instead of incentivizing, they're almost starting to feed on the lighting industry or feed on the blood of the lighting industry and the battery industry or whatever. Suck it dry.
All I know is the amount of electricity that's going to be needed in this country is unbelievable. Nobody really knows. I've on my business card I say analyst and consultant because I don't know enough to consult anybody because I'm still trying to analyze all this stuff. Really? Okay.
Totally.
So the only way we're going to get
the
there.
utilities are looking for answers to questions that nobody has the answer to.
That's true. Well, and one other key factor in all of this is Google just announced last week they're going to fund training for up to 100,000 new electricians.
Google.
Just Google, okay?
Wow.
But because what happens if you...
What a waste of our electrical resources.
Well,
our electrical contracting resources to build
no
computers that run all the time?
Well, it's... If you were to say, I want to get every watt out of every existing building...
So we can have computers that run all the time?
Yeah.
On the matrix?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Folks, you got to go to KeystoneTech.com. That's KeystoneTech.com. The big easy, Greg.
Get there.
Love Peter Brown. Bye for now.